Hello, host Eric here. Welcome to Talking with Famous People. And I'm here today. Host Eric. I'm here today with famous people Jason Neff, John Sullivan, Mr. Haberdasher on the phone. We can't see him, but we can hear him. And we've got Unify and your name in the chat. So, topic I proposed and hope to get these guys and such input on is if you have an acquaintance who is being unfaithful to his or her significant other, what's your reaction and response to that? Ought you take action? Does it change the way you think about this individual? And do you stand in a state of moral condemnation, or do you stand in a state of it's not my business? Or what's your basic position on that? Or can we start at the all right, let's start with your name. Right, take action meaning like should you tell the person's significant other, or should you say something to the guy or the girl who's doing the cheating? Should you say like, hey, you shouldn't do that? Should you not hang out with that person
So,
anymore? Those sort of things.
what's our relationship to the person who's being cheated on?
An
Like, are we their
acquaintance,
friend or what?
an
An
acquaintance
acquaintance.
with whom one is generally friendly, and with whom one has, let's say, I don't know, work relations or something. You're going to see them reasonably often, and and you know that what I said.
Mm, I'd personally just go probably stay away if
Okay.
they're not a close friend.
I think it really just depends who the person is to you and like what you know about the relationship. And if it's typical, I would just stay away. But if it's something that is worth, I don't know, breaking somebody's heart, I guess I would be wary of it, but not really too open about it.
Um,
Well, I would. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Haberdasher.
Well, on my level, for the most part, on most people, whether it's a friend of mine or if it's a best friend, without a doubt, I will confront my friend about it, telling them what they're doing is wrong. However, where I get very branching is whether I would personally tell the spouse or whoever is being cheated on. That's where I kind of draw the line on the iffy. I would almost out lecture the guy, the friend I know, but that's my opinion.
I agree with you on that. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I think, John, you were about to say something?
I was just going to ask if there was any other perspective we'd be looking at this from, but go ahead. You know.
Well, let the cat out is one possibility. Say, that I'm not going to touch that question, dude. I don't want anything to do with that question.
Wow. How younger?
I don't even want to go into that fucking question. It's a weird question.
If it's a single digit, that is not good.
Yeah, I know it's your wife, but not when she was a little kid. All right, enough about that. I didn't want to talk about that stuff. It just all right. Look, back on topic. I mean, that's the issue. Is ought one say, hey, look, you're keeping this shit on the secret, doing all this shit on the sly, and you're getting away with it, and you're not even particularly feeling any shame about it. I don't think that's cool. Talk to the guy, kind of a thing. You could say, look, I mean, what do you think about this? Would you, Mr. Haberdasher, having established basically my position on it as well, would you, if you said, look, you either need to make some sort of change, or uh, I'm going to make this information public. Would you ever do that?
Well, if I were to lecture him, the one of the two things I would probably do is either own up to it and admit it, or I will, or end the act of cheating, or I will tell. Now, depending on certain situations, I would go for one of the two, and usually I would say just to tell them just stop cheating, I'll forget about this mess, and just move on with our lives.
But what if you look at it from the perspective of like my boy's getting laid? Like, I don't know. Like, what if you're on his side? Like, that's good.
That
Keep
cheating's
going and doing
okay.
it.
But I mean, but is he lying to somebody? Because
Uh,
in my opinion, he's defrauding somebody. He's saying, "Here, I'm offering you this. I'm offering you a relationship, which includes fidelity." And then she's keeping her end of the bargain, but he's not keeping his end of the bargain. If it's something
well,
explicit, that's different. But if it's a normal relationship and the chick really believes that she she's in a normal relationship, then isn't he doing something wrong?
Wait,
I don't
so
know.
the female believes she's in a real relationship while the male doesn't?
Well, I'm saying the male's not behaving like that, but he's not telling her that she's in a relationship with a person who's not being faithful. He's telling her that she should, in fact, expect him to be faithful, but then not being faithful, isn't that a problem?
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I would just straight up, like, if he's, like, being that messed up of a person not trying to emotionally connect with anyone and he's cheating, then I would just straight up tell the person without even asking.
I don't know if I would or not, but I think that I think I'd question the person about it if they were close enough to me. If they're not that close, I wouldn't question them. I would just like just shake my head to myself and just be like, "Fuck this guy! I don't even want to do anything with him."
Because I've I've been in like college lately, and like sometimes I don't know. It's kind of just loose. Like some people in a relationship, but sometimes you're at a party or something. You could just do something. And it's not really. I don't know. People aren't really strict about it as much because some people could think like, "Oh, this is a thing," while the other guy's just hooking up with other people. So I don't know. It's a little bit more accepted
I think it depends on
in that.
what's understood by both parties. If that's sort of understood by both parties, then it's understood by both parties.
Yeah.
I think the problem comes into play when there's a clear understanding of a closed relationship and, you know, one party is actively being deceptive in order to violate the constraints.
Well,
Yeah.
it would get very complicated if they were dating the person they were with and not cheating on out of pity, or say if the person that's being cheated on has cancer and may die in a couple of months, and the guy may just be dating her or staying with her out of pity. That could also be where it kind of gets a bit iffy on its own too.
So you're saying that there are circumstances where a guy may feel it not morally acceptable to leave the relationship formally because the other individual needs the support, but they nevertheless don't really feel committed to the relationship in a physical way because it's not satisfying
Yes.
them. Any other thoughts on this topic? Okay, well, I think it's fairly well threshed out. It's an iffy topic for me because in my first marriage, I was cheated on. It was quite difficult. You know, I that was a long time ago. It's not something that I still carry around with me really, but I still think of it as significant in the sense that I personally feel awareness of having a wife cheat on you. You know, I know what it feels like. It's not pleasant. Why did she do it? Well, we were pretty distant from each other. I The bottom line is she was kind of crazy, and like now I think some people might refer to her as she's not she's not necessarily always well, and she had a lot of, I guess she carried a lot of damage and stuff like that. I don't know. It was an interesting situation. We didn't find in each other companions really. We didn't find companionship, and I ended up saying, well, whatever. I don't need companionship. I'll just do my own thing. Let her do her own thing. And we just got distant. And she did her own thing, and you know where that led. So I mean, I was left doing my own thing, but I was respecting the boundaries of marriage. Of course, it's not always going to be equally easy for both parties to respect those bonds. I think it was probably easier for me to respect those bonds than it was for her, on the grounds, at least for one reason, I didn't have as many opportunities. So, as many, what do you call it, temptations. Regardless, I take the I take the behaviors seriously in marriages, at least. I think marriages are supposed to be different to some extent than uh, temporary relationships. But that's about all there is to say about it, I think, this evening. Thanks for watching Talking with Famous People. I have been your host Eric, and I have had my cast of friends here, assorted famous people who I've already named. So have a pleasant evening. Goodbye.